Have you ever noticed something strange? The PhDs, surgeons, and brilliant minds with multiple degrees are often the ones still working well into their 60s, while their seemingly average classmates retired years ago with substantial wealth. It's one of life's most puzzling paradoxes. Why don't the smartest people become the richest? Here's a shocking truth that elite universities won't tell you. 73% of Americans with advanced degrees are still financially dependent on their jobs at age 65, while many high school graduates have achieved complete financial freedom decades earlier. The correlation between academic intelligence and wealth is far weaker than we've been led to believe. We've been sold a dangerous myth our entire lives. Society tells us that academic excellence leads to financial success, that the highest IQs naturally accumulate the highest net worths. But the evidence suggests almost the exact opposite. The skills that make you a brilliant thinker often work against you in building wealth. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 hidden psychological traps that keep intelligent people stuck in a cycle of high income but low wealth. And trap number 5 is something that 92% of highly educated people don't recognize until it's too late. A fundamental mindset that sabotages their financial future despite their impressive mental capabilities. If you've ever wondered why your intelligence and education haven't translated into the financial freedom you expected, type wealth mindset in the comments and stay with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'll show you how to harness your intelligence for actual wealth creation instead of letting it hold you back. Let's begin with the first surprising reason smart people often struggle financially. 1. The overthinking trap. Have you ever met someone brilliant who can't seem to make a decision? I've worked with doctors, lawyers, and engineers who can solve complex problems in their fields, but freeze completely when it comes to investing. This phenomenon has a name: analysis paralysis, and it's the first reason why intelligence often doesn't translate to wealth. Highly intelligent people tend to see every possible outcome, every potential risk, and every variable in a decision. They want perfect information before acting, which sounds reasonable on the surface. But here's the problem. In the financial world, perfect information doesn't exist. Markets move, opportunities pass, and while the brilliant mind is still analyzing, the average person who took action is already benefiting. The wealthy understand something that many intelligent people miss. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time. Making a good decision now and adjusting course later typically creates more wealth than waiting for the perfect decision that may never come. The magic happens in the doing, not just the knowing. If you recognize this pattern in yourself, try implementing a simple decision-making rule. The 70% confidence threshold. When you have about 70% of the information you need and feel 70% confident, make the decision and move forward. Save perfectionism for your profession, not your wealth-building journey. But there's an even more insidious reason why smart people often struggle financially, and it's rooted in how we're educated from childhood. Number 2, trading time for money forever. Our education system conditions bright minds to follow a single path to success: get good grades, earn advanced degrees, and secure a high-paying job. This creates the second major wealth obstacle for intelligent people. They become experts at earning income rather than building assets. They're trapped on what I call the income treadmill, running faster and faster without actually accumulating wealth. Consider this startling truth. A surgeon earning $400,000 annually who spends $350,000 on lifestyle expenses is actually poorer than a small business owner making $100,000 who invests $50,000 in income-producing assets each year. Why? Because the surgeon's wealth is tied directly to their working hours, while the business owner is systematically building assets that generate money whether they work or not. I witnessed this firsthand with 2 friends who graduated from the same university. Rebecca pursued multiple advanced degrees, eventually becoming a specialized consultant earning over $300,000 annually. Mark dropped out after his bachelor's degree to start a rather ordinary-looking industrial cleaning company. 20 years later, Rebecca still works 60-hour weeks to maintain her high income, while Mark's business operates without his daily involvement, generating over $500,000 in annual profit, while he travels half the year. The fundamental shift that creates wealth isn't earning more. It's transitioning from selling your time to owning assets that generate ongoing returns. The wealthy focus on acquiring or creating things that make money while they sleep. businesses, real estate, investments, intellectual property, or systems. If you spent years developing your earning potential but haven't seen that translate to wealth, start redirecting a portion of your income to acquiring assets. Even a small percentage of your earnings consistently invested in income-producing assets will eventually outpace your salary. This brings us to the third reason intelligent people often struggle financially, a psychological blind spot that's particularly common in those with impressive credentials. Number 3, the intelligence trap. There's an interesting paradox I've observed in working with highly educated friends. The same intelligence that helped them excel academically often prevents them from learning the practical skills of wealth building. Why? Because deep expertise in one area can create what psychologists call earned dogmatism, the tendency for experts to close their minds to new approaches outside their field of mastery. Many brilliant people fall into this trap. Their success in structured environments like academia creates an overconfidence that doesn't serve them in the messy, often counterintuitive world of wealth creation. They approach financial decisions with the same frameworks that worked in their specialized fields, not recognizing that different domains require different thinking patterns. I worked with Thomas, a distinguished professor with multiple degrees and published books. When it came to investing, he insisted on researching everything himself, dismissing financial advisors as unnecessary middlemen. His intelligence told him he could master investing just as he'd mastered his academic field. 5 years and many costly mistakes later, he finally admitted that he'd been approaching wealth building with the wrong mindset. "I wouldn't expect someone to master my field without years of guided study," he told me. Yet somehow I expected to master investing through sheer intelligence alone. The wealthy, regardless of their intelligence, understand the value of specialized knowledge. They recognize that building wealth is its own discipline with unique principles that often contradict academic thinking. Rather than trying to reinvent financial wheels, they learn from those who've already achieved what they're seeking. If you find yourself resistant to financial advice despite struggling in this area, consider whether your intelligence might actually be blocking your learning. The phrase beginner's mind from Zen Buddhism applies perfectly here. Approach wealth building with openness rather than assumptions, especially if your current approach hasn't yielded results. Do you find yourself overanalyzing financial decisions or believing you can figure everything out on your own? Comment 1 if you're committed to approaching wealth with fresh eyes. Number 4, status spending. Perhaps the most visible reason why intelligent people often struggle financially is hiding in plain sight, in their driveways, closets, and vacation photos. After years of sacrifice for advanced degrees and specialized training, many highly educated professionals fall into what economists call status spending, using consumption rather than wealth to signal their success. This pattern is remarkably consistent. Once they achieve professional success, intelligent people often feel entitled to a lifestyle that demonstrates their accomplishments. Luxury cars, prestigious neighborhoods, private schools for children, and exclusive vacations. These status symbols seem like reasonable rewards for their hard work, but financially, they create a devastating wealth leak. The wealthy understand a crucial distinction that eludes many intelligent people. Looking rich and being rich are completely different things. In fact, they're often inversely related. Every dollar spent displaying status is a dollar that can't build wealth through compounding and investment returns. This creates a tragic irony where the external appearance of success actually prevents reality of financial freedom. The pressure is particularly acute for intelligent professionals because their social circles often normalize extravagant spending. When everyone in your hospital, law firm, or university department drives a luxury car, lives in an expensive neighborhood, and takes lavish vacations, frugality can seem like failure rather than wisdom. Consider Jonathan, a brilliant attorney who finally made partner at his law firm after years of 80-hour weeks. Within months, he purchased a new luxury sedan, upgraded to a larger house, and began taking his family on lavish international vacations. "I've earned this," he explained when we discussed his minimal savings. Meanwhile, his client Eleanor, who owned several unglamorous self-storage facilities, drove a 10-year-old car and lived in a modest home, despite having twice Jonathan's net worth. If you recognize this pattern in your life, consider adopting what I call stealth wealth practices, maintaining modest visible consumption while channeling your true financial power into investments. You might be surprised how many genuinely wealthy people intentionally live below their means, letting their bank accounts rather than their possessions reflect their success. But there's one final reason why smart people struggle financially, and it might be the most significant of all. Number 5, the expertise imbalance. The most profound reason why intelligent people often struggle financially reveals a staggering gap in our education system. We create doctors who can perform miraculous surgeries but can't optimize their retirement accounts. We train engineers who design incredible structures but mismanage their personal finances. We educate attorneys who can navigate complex legal codes but don't understand basic investment principles. This expertise imbalance explains why some of the smartest minds I've worked with are financial novices. They've dedicated tens of thousands of hours to mastering their specialized fields while investing virtually no time in understanding how money works. It's as if they built sophisticated rocket ships without learning how to navigate. Dr. Sarah, a brilliant neurosurgeon, perfectly illustrated this when she consulted me about her finances at age 52. Despite earning over $800,000 annually for more than a decade, she had barely $300,000 saved for retirement. I spent 14 years learning how to operate on a human brain, she confessed, but no one ever taught me how to manage money. It seemed secondary, almost beneath my expertise. Those years of financial neglect cost her millions in potential wealth. What's particularly troubling is how our education system reinforces this imbalance. We celebrate academic achievements while treating financial education as optional or even slightly distasteful. Many intelligent people internalize the idea that focusing on money is somehow less noble than pursuing knowledge for its own sake. Yet this false dichotomy ultimately limits their impact and freedom. The wealthy approach learning differently. They recognize that financial intelligence deserves the same dedicated study as any other important discipline. They read books, take courses, work with mentors, and deliberately develop their financial thinking. Not instead of their primary expertise, but alongside it. If you've devoted years to developing professional expertise while neglecting your financial education, begin rebalancing today. Approach money with the same curiosity and commitment that made you successful in your field. Your intelligence is a powerful tool. You simply need to apply it to this critical area of life. Here's the fundamental question that might change your financial trajectory. Is it truly wise to spend decades becoming world-class in your profession while remaining financially illiterate? Because no matter how brilliant you are in your field, financial ignorance eventually creates limits that even a genius cannot overcome. We've just explored the 5 surprising reasons why intelligence doesn't automatically translate to wealth. From analysis paralysis to the salary trap, from overconfidence to status spending, and finally to the critical imbalance between professional and financial expertise. These patterns explain why some of the smartest people you know might be the furthest from true financial freedom despite their impressive credentials and abilities. The good news? Once you recognize these patterns, you can use your intelligence as a powerful asset it truly is, rather than letting it become a hidden obstacle. Intelligence combined with financial wisdom creates an unstoppable force. It's simply a matter of applying your mental strengths in the right direction. This week, I challenge you to identify which of these 5 traps has most affected your financial journey. Be honest with yourself about whether you've been overthinking decisions, focusing too much on income instead of assets, resisting financial guidance, spending to impress others, or neglecting your financial education. Just recognizing your primary pattern can be the breakthrough that changes everything. Comment financial wisdom below if you're committed to balancing your intelligence with practical financial knowledge. Your comment helps others discover these insights and lets me know which of these patterns resonated most strongly with you. If you found value in today's revelations, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every Wednesday, I share strategies that bridge the gap between intelligence and wealth, insights that could dramatically change your financial trajectory. Remember, your brilliance is an incredible gift. It just needs to be paired with the right financial principles to create true abundance. As Albert Einstein wisely noted, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Your intelligence gives you the capacity to understand wealth deeply. Now it's time to use that understanding to create the financial freedom you deserve.